Yeah, they're fucking.
They look like their old green they used to have.
To me, they look like fucking. What's it called? Arena football.
Yeah, they look like the Seahawks.
Yeah. I don't like them.
All right.
Jets haven't been relevant since Favre was there.
No, I know. Yeah. All right, let me see. Why am I not? Where's the thing? Wait a minute. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Weird Science Marvel Comics Podcast, episode 67. I forgot to say it was the Mario Lemieux episode. Last time I missed my opportunity. It's number 67 now. Yes, and so we're here to talk a couple books. Me, Brandon, and Aaron. It's been a little bit since I talked to Aaron, since I missed last week's show. I gave everybody a reprieve from listening to my nonsense. But I want to point out before we go on, we have a website that is WeirdScienceMarvelComics.com. We have a email address that you can email us, and we'll read the email on the weekend edition, and that is WeirdScienceMarvelComics@gmail.com. And we have a Patreon account where you can support us for this podcast, the DC podcast, whichever, both, whatever, and get a lot of shows. And that is over at patreon.com/weirdscience. And we have upped the ante over there where we do have a weekly spotlight where there'll be at least one book. And this week it was War of the Realms #1. That was picked by the Bad Butts. And if you become a Bad Butt of the Patreon, you get to vote as well. We're also going to have a Marvel events podcast where each month we go through some events, one issue or a couple issues at a time. So some of the events will obviously take us some time, but we're also going to have a Marvel Unlimited Reading Club as well, and a Secret Origins Marvel podcast where I go through a character and their first appearance and origin. And that is that. And we're here with 3 books. We have 3 books tonight. Now, I will also mention that we are recording it a little different tonight, which caused us some snafus. We're starting late, only because somebody was nice enough to leave a review on iTunes that said our audio was garbage and it was unbearable and unlistenable, and it's been bothering me ever since. And I said to Brandon when I saw that, I understand when you have an issue. If you listen to and maybe he said it's unlistenable, but if you listen for 2 seconds, we do have an email. If you have any issues with the podcast, you can email us first. You can get a hold of us on
Really?
Twitter.
The problem? There's been an audio problem? I haven't heard anything.
Said there's a hiss, and I could listen very, very loud. I don't know. Maybe it's hard of hearing and he has to jack it up. We also have a Twitter at
I listen to every episode with headphones on, so I don't know.
Well, there you go. See, well, at least we know now that it wasn't you backstabbing us, Aaron. We have a Twitter. It's WS Marvel Comics. And again, yes, sayonara. If you do have an issue or you do have a suggestion or anything like that, let us know. Email us.
We're reasonable.
Send us a tweet, and we'll get back to you. Now, I will mention, I don't know if Brandon saw today, he ended up answering a DM from a guy, which was awesome. He was listening to the podcast as he went from Texas, I believe, to Georgia, is what he said. I'm trying to bring it up now.
It's one of those drives that's longer than you think it is.
It's a bit of an upgrade in living.
Yes. And it is John, message, and he said that he is going from Texas to Georgia, and he was listening to us and enjoying the podcast while his wife slept. And Brandon ended up messaging him back, and then I didn't see it, and then I did. So then I'm like, I gotta get in on this too. So I actually messaged separately, and pointed out that it was me, and said that I hope that we weren't just putting his wife asleep. And she doesn't seem like she cares much about the podcast. Is what I see now, because I didn't see the response then. So.
He said it was. She said it was whatever, and I said, well, that sounds like a seal of approval from a woman to me. If I ever heard one.
That's like me.
Whatever is a yes in my book.
Yeah, whatever it is. That's
in
usually
any circumstance.
To me, that's usually my resse to Tanya. You're like, what do you want for dinner? Whatever, because I know that if I say anything, she ain't gonna listen to me.
I don't get it's not gonna be what you want. It's not gonna be what she wants. So
I had a pick. I had a thing this week where we're getting some cabinets. We're redoing, kind of on the cheap, our kitchen. We're just kind of upgrading it a little. And we need to get new cabinets. So Tanya gets a hold of me and says, "Do you want to get finished or unfinished cabinets?" cabinets. And to me, obviously, because I'm a dummy, unfinished cabinets to me means a pile of wood. You know, I'm not thinking that it's the actual fit, but I'm like, well, what's cheaper? And then she just started arguing with me. Oh, here we go. I said, what do you mean? Here we go. Yeah, you messaged me. That's what you want me. I said, whatever. So there you go. I'm like John's wife. Whatever it is. But yeah.
Well, unfinished means you have more work ahead of you. Let's put it that way.
Exactly.
Believe me, unfinished means nothing for me. The minute that those cabinets come in, mysteriously 3 new podcasts on the Patreon. That's what'll happen. I said, hey, I gotta do some Patreon podcasting. But we are here to talk 3 books. And there's 2 X-Men books and 1 not so X-Men book. And we have 2 number 1s, but we're going to start with Uncanny X-Men number 15. And I'm going to take that over to Brandon. Take it away, my man.
Yeah, we only have last names here because we could not find credits. So we have, I know Matthew Rosenberg is the first name. Is it Salvador LaRocca?
Salvador LaRocca.
And then Guru FX is that's
the name.
The full name.
Guru FX.
There we go.
I think it's Jim Werner, Guru FX. I heard that once.
Yes. It's all revealed. But yeah, Uncanny X-Men 15, resuming the X-Men or the Cyclops and Wolverine kind of assembling this ragtag group. And I don't know really what they're trying to do here. They run into some randomness, and it all starts off with Dark Beast dealing with the twins I know nothing about, Mirage and Karma.
Yeah. And here's the thing is reading this issue. Now, I didn't talk with you guys the last time, I believe. And then, all the stuff, because even I missed last week.
I was struggling last time.
And the last time, that was when that book I had to leave. So I've been,
come out last week?
No, it was 2 weeks ago, because 2 weeks ago I did 2 of the issues with you, but then I had to.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
So I let you guys take over. Now, I did read it. And still started reading this and had that, awful feeling that I missed 7 issues.
Yeah, and also didn't have the blurb in the front.
Yeah, it's weird.
So you give you no recap whatsoever.
Nope. And so with that, the last thing that happened in the issue, last issue was, Steve Cap showing up. So then I realized, because I'm like, what's going on? Like it threw me in with Dark Beast, and I'm thinking, I don't remember this. Maybe I didn't read it. And
they barely show his legs at all in this, and he's not colored dark enough where I was confused and thought it was regular Beast almost.
Almost
immediately, because he's also being nice and lending a helping hand. He's not being super shady.
Yeah, it seems like now he's just kind of a creep.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He's not evil. He's just kind of a creep. But then you go, and then
But he still has those legs, though. So I'm screaming in my head when I'm reading his page, because I knew it was Dark Beast right away. But
I'm not a leg man, Aaron, so I don't mind. But yeah, you go and you have Cap at the door, and then I did read this. Like I said, I didn't talk with you guys the last time that this was on the podcast, so it kind of gave me a little, an aside that maybe I didn't read it. Maybe that's why I bailed. I couldn't remember. I'm telling you, on the Marvel side of things, I said I actually love that we get to pick some issues that we like for the most part, and also I get to bail. I don't get to bail. If I bail on the DC, that means there ain't no podcast.
Get to play a little Eric Shea.
Oh, Eric Shea. We're at work today. And I said, listen, I need you to come to work tomorrow. And he goes, why would I come to work tomorrow? It's Saturday. I don't show up on Sunday. It's legit. I'm like, no. You better show up. I need you for your muscles. And he's like, no, that's a complete lie. But I do. But he's not very strong. He's a tall man, not a strong
You need him
man.
as a fulcrum.
Yeah, really. But yeah, and so with this whole idea of this issue, Steve's like, listen, you guys are causing some issues. I know that you're up and up guys. Hey, Logan, what's going on? Me and you are tight from before. And hey, Scott, I hope that you're doing the right thing. And I think you're a stand-up guy enough. Here's my Avengers card. If you need me, I got to get out of here. I'm not supposed to be seen with you guys. And I don't know. The whole deal of the X-Men coming back and then the X-Men leaving and being in the X-Man deal. I think that me personally, I know the idea of the mutants. We're all against mutants. Everybody hates mutants and things like that. I wish that this book just didn't 100% focus on that, because I'd like to kind of ease myself into just having the team and maybe the whole idea of them trying to find out where the X-Man, group is. would have been enough for me to go forward.
I find its focus to be a little muddled right now. Like, I know they have this list of people they're going after, but they never really state who they're going after.
And it's so much more.
You haven't seen that list in a long time.
And so much
then we
more
end up just getting into these random scenes later on in this issue.
And this is what happens. This is what I'm getting
and
to.
You're just like, what's going on?
Yeah, right after the bar.
Yeah, after the bar, I was
way threw me off.
And there are progression problems of where you see, it looks like at one point, Scott gets hit from behind. Now he's by himself and he doesn't have his hood up anymore. And he's got this and that. I really think there were some problems here in the way that this was done.
I don't know how he gets hit from behind because he's surrounded by X-Men.
Yeah. And I'm telling you,
before he gets close.
He has his hood up. He gets hit from behind. And then the next panel, his hood's down and he's there just with everyone. And it looks like the guy who hit him
is like 16 feet away.
Yeah, is away.
It's really messed up. I had same issues.
Yeah, this issue had the mutant power of confusion. I had no idea at some point.
That's why I called it. That's why I called this Liefeld 2.0.
Yeah, yeah.
The art is prettier.
Yeah, it is. It is. And the art's okay. But yeah, then you're having this whole thing. And it's like, hey, you Mutant Liberation Front people, you stop it. Come on, man, you're causing trouble. You have a couple blasts. And then the next thing you know, Scott yells for magic, get me up on the roof. And I'm like, where is he going?
I don't understand how he knows there's people up there.
Real bad problems here.
And then Banshee just looks like a disgusting human being.
He's super tall and lanky, and now he looks like a zombie.
Did a vampire?
Like, I could have swore
panel or something?
Really.
I could have swore Hank McCoy created Banshee. Like,
you would know better than me.
I'm pretty sure Hank McCoy created Banshee, and then somehow I can't quite remember, he came back to life or something like that.
Gross.
So I mean.
He's better off dead, obviously.
Dead is always better.
Dead is always better. But yeah, even with this, you have all this going on, and Hope's there, and she does have her gun set up. She's got a sniper rifle, but in my mind, that wasn't even pointed out enough. So when all this is going on, and then all of a sudden,
who would she shoots,
I'm like, well, she ends up
for the senator.
For the senator.
Yeah.
But it all just kind of gets jumbled in together. She's about to shoot her, at least saying, like, Scott, back off. Wolverine comes from behind, and she ends up accidentally shooting Scott right between the eyes as Wolverine hits her. And then, eventually he runs the claws through her, but we see later that she ends up, and she does blast him. She kills
the senator too, right? Or
well, then she kills the senator afterwards. And by this whole progression of the scene just was crazy. Yeah. And I did the one thing. At least
Wolverine looks sweet as a half metal.
Yeah, it does. I like that, and I'll tell you, I did like the progression after that when they are, in the bar, and they mention that Hope survived because as Wolverine ran her through, she kind of took his healing factor. I thought, you know what, that's a pretty clever deal there. But
I thought she was dead.
Yeah, really, I did too. But even that,
threw her off the building.
She ends up, she blasts.
That was Scott falling over.
Yeah, and she blasts Wolverine, and then just goes to the gun, shoots the center. As she's doing that, Wolverine's like, I don't really care about the politician. This is for Scott. Runs her through, and that's when they go. But boy, this issue just there's so much going on, but not much going on. It's too busy for what little is going on.
We're at the bar, we leave the bar, we're back at the bar.
Yeah, and then we find out then that pretty much Scott has one eye. One eye was blasted.
Now he's a true Cyclops.
Yeah, and I like that Dark Beast actually says that. Like, your moniker really fits now. But also that he was going to give him a robotic tongue. And I'm like, all right, like that's kind of funny.
My mind went immediately to Kung Fu Hustle, or no, Kung Pao.
Kung Pao with that stupid with that. So as this is going on,
Havoc that ends up punching Dark Beast in the
that's what it looks like. Yeah. Again, though, the progression. Yeah, the progression's crazy. And then the whole deal is that as this goes on, Scott's like, what were you doing before with the girls? What were you doing? What were you doing with the twins? Oh, no, all this. And it turns out that he ended up curing them of this virus that isn't really a virus, but a parasite.
Yeah.
And then used the way they could do that.
Warlock.
Yeah. And to get the parasite out, just pretty much made the host from Jamie Madrox, who now wants to be killed. Like, please kill me.
One of his dupes.
Yeah, one of his dupes, which he says. It's classic. It is a classic way to do it because it's a dupe.
So we have a crippled Cyclops now because he can't use his blast because he's shot in the eye and his head is cracked open.
Yep, and if he does overdo it, if he gets so much and he goes to blast, it could blow his head up. It just could blow his head up.
I hope that heals because I mean we've had Cyclops back.
His eye
is gone.
They're handicapping him already. Like
shot him in the eyeball.
This is what made me laugh because Alex says to him, like, listen, Dark Beast, because actually he throws shade at Dark Beast, and Dark Beast is like, oh, and Scott says, listen, ease up on him. He's helping. He's actually seems to be changing. Like, he's a good guy. He saved me. And Alex is like, well, he ended up wanting to put a robotic tongue, and I almost let him. How about a robotic eye? I mean, really, like, if you're going to go as far as a robotic tongue, give him an eye. I think you could do that.
How about we fix this cracked skull here?
How do you even consider Dark Beast as he's possibly getting better. His name is Dark Beast.
I know it's Dark Beast.
It's in the name.
Beast. What's your first name? Dark. All right, you're no good. Yeah,
I have spider legs made of metal.
Yeah, really. I mean, he looks like he should be under Sid's bed in Toy Story. That's what he looks like. He comes out, doing it around, clicking around.
And so does Warlock now, too.
Yeah, he just wanted somebody else to have some sort of robotics, which he did. Yeah, you give it to Jamie Madrox. There you go. But it's kind of a quick read. I was confused through most of it. I really was. I didn't hate it. I was just confused. I don't, and not much goes on except by the end.
Unfinished.
Yeah. And it felt rushed. It felt unfinished. And it felt like, okay, we have to do a couple things. Let's do that. And let's shove a lot of other things in there and see, how it goes.
A lot of these X-Men books lately feel like they're on a deadline for the next big X-Men thing coming up. And the X-Men just always having the next big thing on the horizon never lets any of their stories develop naturally.
And I've even said
I fully understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and I've even seen a lot of people are trying to starting to get the idea that they wanted to get Wolverine and Scott back, obviously, and you're going to have Cyclops and Wolverine. That's the big draw. We're having that, but they don't want to do much until the other X-Men come back. So you have to kind of like you said, there's a deadline, but you can't do too much because you don't want. It seems like a book that's just there to be there. It's a placeholder book, just so and really, if they were confident, to me, the big thing is Cyclops and Wolverine, and that's supposed to sell it sight unseen. And nothing's really happened. But I'm not as annoyed at points that we were earlier when Uncanny came back, when the book seemed to be taking 2 steps forward, 2 steps back every time. Yeah. But still, I'm and like you said earlier about Cyclops, we're happy to have him back. It's great. And him and Wolverine, awesome. Now Cyclops has one eye and his head might explode. I don't need that, right? And
no.
And so
like bringing Wolverine back and giving him hot claws. Who would do such a thing?
Yeah, really. Imagine that. I don't know, but what would you give it?
That was integral to the story.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, hot claws.
You had to light that gas on fire.
What would you give it, Aaron?
This is a 5.
Yeah, I'm going to go a little more positive. I'm going a 5.5. Just I like the art.
The art is pretty, but it doesn't help with the story.
You know what's funny in my mind, and because again, I'll admit I'm a dummy. I am a noob when it comes to the X-Men. When you had Cyclops get shot and go back, I know it's Alex. At first, I thought that was Cap again. I'm like, well, let's see in Street Clothes.
That's also why Cap.
Say that.
Yeah. Yes, that's also why Cap had to show up at the bar.
Yeah, and that's why he was in the bar.
When he shows up at the bar, he has to have his Captain America outfit on, or else you would be like,
what's going on?
Ken. You know,
Yeah,
I
I
don't
see.
know.
I see double vision here. But yeah, when I thought that this was the deal because of Cap leaving, going, I can't be seen with you guys. I thought
Yeah.
that he showed up then because
In street
maybe
clothes?
somebody used the card to call because they're all messed
They're in
up. And
trouble.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what's Cap? Oh no, that's Alex. I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. But yeah, I was a little confused. But maybe I should go a little lower because of that. But I do like messed up Wolverine. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna go down a little. I'm gonna go 5.499 is what I'm gonna do. But what about you, Brandon?
Yeah, I'm gonna be positive here because I don't got
You
much
going
else
6?
positive to say for the rest of the night. So I'm gonna give it a 6 because
Yeah.
I did like that one panel. I like the scenes of Wolverine and Cyclops interacting and getting along a little bit. But
Yeah.
then we handicap our main character basically in the book, and
Yeah, that's a thing that I never
It
get.
just doesn't tell a good story.
Yeah,
the whole
that's the
issue.
thing. If it is something that is for the betterment of the story, but this just seems like it happened just to happen.
yeah, like he can't use the cool thing that makes him Cyclops anymore. Really,
Yeah.
It's like they told Rosenberg that you get to write X-Men for this amount of period of time.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do. And all he's got in him is all 90s stuff.
Yeah. Because he was
I want to touch on everything that I got to do and I wanted to do in the 90s.
Yeah. So there you go. Well, there's the positive book.
yes.
I'm waiting for the Wolverine cannonball throw or whatever.
The cannonball special.
Yeah, fastball
special. Yeah. What the heck? We had it all the time.
Coming.
Yeah, Colossus isn't around. They need a strong guy.
That's true. Well, we're going to move on. And we have the 2 number 1s coming up. And this one's going to be a weird one to talk about. It is Marvel Team Up number 1. And the way this came out digitally is a lot different than how it came out printed. If you got it digitally, you'll know what we're talking about. But if you got it, print, you had this. It's 2 stories going side by side. But in digital, you just get the full Spidey story. And then you have to, and I'm like, whoa, what happened? And then you get
with the Miss Marvel page.
Yeah, with the Miss Marvel page. And then you switch to the Miss Marvel deal that fills in the blanks. And really, I sat there and like, we needed 2 stories. Now they are, 10 pages each or whatever. It does equal out to a little bit, basically a regular issue. But yeah, I still think there was not enough story to fill these pages. There's not much going on here. And I was a little disappointed. The Marvel Team Up
day-to-day of Peter's morning routine. You got it here, fella.
Yeah, and it's Marvel Team Up featuring Spider-Man and Miss Marvel. It is the number 1. And you have when a strange Terrigen Mist descended upon Jersey City, Kamala Khan was imbued with polymorph powers. Using her new abilities to fight evil and protect Jersey City, she became Miss Marvel. That's not okay. Now we know Miss Marvel, but we're going to start with Peter, and he's just getting ready because he has to give an introduction at Empire State University, and
it's not even really a speech.
Yeah, it's just an introduction to a speech to Yesenia Rosario, a friend of his that is getting an award. And
from now on, we're only calling her Rosario.
Yeah, Dr. Rosario, and she is actually presenting a bit of technology that you can download your brain, but also you can switch things up. It's just there to be there. It's just this wonky machine that's kind of a MacGuffin to what ends up being the deal. But some of the fun of this is supposed to be that you have Peter going to Empire State University, which he got cut. He got kicked out for plagiarism. So he goes there. This issue, just to me, first off, I hate the way Eve Ewing, and I didn't say Eve Ewing's writing, art by Joey Vasquez at this point, colors Felipe Sobriero, and letters by VC's Clayton Cowles. And so you're going into this, and boy, I don't like this Peter. I don't like the Peter at all.
He's terrible.
And he's just there, and he loses, he spills coffee on himself. He goes, he's going to give this.
This is a guy that can make webbing.
Yeah.
Literally out of just chemicals laying around in his garage, but he can't tie a tie or literally do anything else.
He doesn't like to adult. he
No.
says.
Yeah,
So,
adulting,
he
sorry.
goes off to the university to introduce Dr. Rosario. There's a big crowd there. They're all excited. And she comes in and is like, oh, man, I spilled coffee on myself. You too? Oh, great. So he introduces.
Might be also the worst invention ever. Like,
yeah, well, he does.
Causing nothing but trouble.
Yep, he doesn't have. Also, I mean, she should have some explaining to do by the end, but they're there. He ends up introducing her without notes because he lost his notes.
Then
That's
left
the
his
big
iPad.
thing.
Yeah.
And he's done. He goes backstage. All of a sudden, Spidey's sense goes, and they're pretty much attacked. And this machine is stolen by the Jackal.
Yeah.
There it is.
Be dead, by the way. The Jackal was last seen burning in Ben Reilly's house in Clone Conspiracy.
So,
but he gets pulled out for a throwaway story here.
Yeah, a throwaway story.
And I didn't really understand that this was the stage going on at this point, because see, Spider-Man's up on the wall looking at a can in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden,
and he even says like,
on
hey, where'd everybody go? And I'm like, okay, did people get it? Was this machine? Because that's the thing. If you're reading digitally, you don't get a full explanation of what this device is until the second half after you get through this. So you're there and I'm like, oh, did everybody teleport away? I don't really understand, because Peter has to make an excuse and like, oh, I got to go to the bathroom. You have the guy, the director backstage, and he's like, hey, the green room's that way. Spider Sense is going. And then he comes back and there's Dr. Rosario faced off against the Jackal. He is stolen or going to steal this machine that ends up like getting your brain to swap and also download your memory. So if somebody had Alzheimer's, you can re-upload their memories. It's so crazy, but he goes down, and it's not even just crazy. It's just there. And he goes down. He's going to fight the Jackal.
Serve the purpose of a nonsense story.
Yeah, Miss Marvel comes. They're going to fight. Miss Marvel's like, hey, I'm a big fan. Oh, and he's like, go take Dr. Rosario. Get her to safety. Now, this is the thing, and we'll combine both stories here. The big deal is you have Kamala go over to this, Dr. Rosario and go, okay, let's get you out of here. And she goes, no. I don't want this device to get in the wrong hands, so I'm going to blow us all up. That's what it seemed to me.
Pretty much
she's like, I'm going to
suicide mission.
Yeah, I'm going to hit this button, and it's now a bomb. I'm like, really? Like, there are thousands of people there, at least hundreds, watching you.
It's like she's Dr. Evil. I need sharks with lasers on their heads.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know who the villain is. Is it
she was trying to make a brain bomb?
Rosario.
It's really essentially a brain bomb.
It's crazy. Did Eve Ewing think this through? Because she's
I'm going to download all your memories, and then I'm going to blow your head up.
Yeah, I'm gonna blow this up. It can't get in the wrong hands. Everybody here is going to die. And, it's a shame because most of these people are fans of mine, but hey, them's the breaks. And I'm like, what is going on? And as you get Kamala's side of the story, she's a big Dr. Rosario fan. I hope not now. I wouldn't be. Dr. Rosario did
murderer,
and they're on a school trip. Kids, that's what they like doing. You go on a school trip and you get blown up. But yeah, as Peter and the Jackal are fighting, and there's not much of a fight, you end up having them, wrap the webbing around, and then Kamala embiggens her hands and then grabs him. And he's like, boy, this is really emasculating. You have Kamala like, everybody get out of here because this crazy doctor has just engaged a bomb. Yeah, everybody please go to the bomb exits that we set up here. And just the idea of this nonsense going on. And then you have Peter, who Kamala's like, let's get rid of the bomb. And he's like, no. Well, hold on now. I'm pretty good with tech. Let me just try to diffuse it. No, Pete. Get it out of there. Get it out of there.
Just make a web slingshot and get this thing as high out of the building as you can.
Have Kamala get big and just chuck it. Whatever.
Do something.
Nope. He's trying to disable it, and it does go off. They get knocked back, and it's Freaky Friday, it's vice versa.
Where's Lindsay Lohan?
I mean, it's every deal, and I'll go with the original. But it's every movie like the switching movies like this that you ever saw.
Had a switching body, or not really a switching body story, but I don't know, kind of a similar thing going on not long ago.
Yeah, so now the big deal is Peter is Kamala, Kamala's Peter. We have to go from there, and hijinks ensue. And to me, where I really think that by the end, I like the art. I like the art in both stories. It's fine. My big thing is that doctor blowing that up. That is just there to, like, a lot of things in this are here just to force the issue.
Yeah.
Peter's there. Oh my God.
You kind of expect from a Marvel team up kind of comic.
Yeah.
Back when Marvel team up was a big thing.
Yeah.
On the spinner racks, whatever. It was just kind of a throwaway story, but I mean, you at least got a well-written story.
Yeah, you have to have a progression that leads into something that at least feels a little bit natural. I mean, it's just this bomb to go off. She has to have the bomb go off so that they can vice versa. And so they just have it go off. And it just, even like you said.
What about Peter's abilities this issue made you think he could stop a bomb? The dude can't tie a tie. Can't remember his notes.
Then that's what I'm saying. Why would then he, put a lot of people in danger, especially, even if it's just by then with people getting out, Kamala even in danger by just saying, no. Because she's like, we got to get rid of this. No, I'm going to check it out. I'll see what's going on.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. But yeah, with that, I didn't like it. And when I read a Marvel team up like this, I would hope that if it was done well, it would actually get me excited to go off and read the Miss Marvel or read the Spider-Man books that are out, and at least pick and choose and say, I need more of both of these characters. By the end of this, Peter just is a dummy. And Kamala's just there to be there, to have that team up. I didn't get much from her at all. So I was disappointed. I'm going to give this, again, I'll go positive because of the art, and I'll go 5-5 again. And we'll see how it goes on. Now, having the vice versa Freaky Friday deal, that could be fun. That could be a fun deal. I would expect that Peter's going to say to Kamala, like, I'm going to follow you. You better not, take my mask off and do that. But we shall see, because she definitely, obviously, as the beginning, she knows who Peter Parker is. She was there even discussing with her friend about Peter getting kicked out of college and all that stuff. So if she does reveal, she'll know, whatever. But what would you do, Brandon? What would you give it?
I don't know, I think I give this a 4. Like, I just didn't have any fun with it. I found Peter to be kind of a moron, and I like Kamala better in her own book than I did in
that's
anything she did here. So, like, if you're looking for either of these characters, I would go to their own books personally, and then
and if you're gonna go in this sort of deal, check out Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. That's more of the fun side.
If you want like kind of a anthology team up type book, like Marvel Comics Presents is just so much better random stories.
There's that, and they also have the True Believers that are what, $1?
Yeah. Check out
those True Believers are on the shelves. I mean, this is a $4 comic, and it's reading like a children's book.
Well, that's what the problem is. It's stuck.
Like a book I'd read to my daughter. A little bit.
It's stuck between being a regular book, and it does feel very childish the way it reads. It does.
I mean, this is comics. I get that. I understand that, but you're not going to entice children to buy a $4 comic book.
No. And with the others available, a parent should,
and then have a to be continued at the end of it also.
Yeah, even this week.
It's such a basic story. I mean, we've all read it 100 times, that it could be done in one issue. It could be a one and done issue for $4 and be respectable.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. And even just the deal is, and before you give your score, even this week, if you were going, you have Marvel Superhero Adventure Spider-Man. So you could just go that route and get a bunch of characters, and it's written well. I actually, have enjoyed some of those. You do have some other options. So yeah, I don't know where this would hit, but what score would you give, Brendan? Or I mean, Aaron.
Oh, jeez. I think I'm at a 5 still.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know. It might be my book of the week, though. Book of the night.
The funny thing is,
maybe 5.2.
Yeah, we're doing these, and I'm not angry. A couple weeks ago, I was just furious. It's just
nothing burgers
are. Here's the last issue. This is going quickly. The last issue,
at least we can make fun of.
It's a doozy. It's a doozy. It's a doozy. Major X #1, and it is written and penciled by Rob Liefeld. It is inked by Rob Liefeld with Adelso Corona and Dan Fraga. Color artist is Ramallah Fajardo Jr. and letters VC's Joe Sabino. Since it's the #1, there's not really a recap page. There's nothing to recap. I actually wish there was a setup page, so I knew what the heck.
There's going to be a recap page on issue 2.
Well, I wish that I knew what was going on half the time. Now, with this, I will tell you, and I said, I am a Rob Liefeld fan for all the wrong reasons. I really am. I like to have fun while everybody yells and screams about him. I do like when he gets in fights with people on Twitter. I like that he is a guy who will just say, what's on his mind. And half the time, I don't know why he would do it. Things like that. And I like his, hey, F you attitude type of deal a lot of times. I don't mind his art sometimes. I know a lot of people have a lot of problems with his art. I kind of like it sometimes. And in this book, there are pages I like.
There are panels
pages I don't. Like. And the storytelling.
Then it gets ruined with words.
Oh my God, the storytelling.
Actually, doesn't Shatterstar look like a Dalmatian or something? Like I don't know.
Yeah. I'm telling you, there are points. First off, you have Major X who just looks like Judge Dredd.
Yeah.
There, and sometimes it looks like he's lost his neck.
Don't say he looks like Judge Dredd.
Oh, he does.
That's just
his helmet.
That's just bad for Judge Dredd.
Yeah, well, it is. But hey, I'm just saying. I think that in that first,
it kind of is.
I think Rob Liefeld
it's Judge Dredd mixed with Cyclops' old outfit.
Yeah, old deal. I think that Rob Liefeld really wants you to know that he is packing, and I don't mean the 2 guns that he's holding. I'm telling you, I'm looking at that first page.
Or he's wearing a safety.
Look at that
foot from his day job as a minor league baseball catcher.
Look at that foot on on Cable's face.
Well, it works a little. It's, and that I think that by now, Liefeld even plays around with that. I really think so. But again, he can't draw feet.
I don't know.
You know what he can't draw? A coherent issue that gets me excited, because this issue starts, and basically, before I read it, Brandon got a hold of me and said, basically, listen, this is going to be guys fighting and trash talking, then it switches around to the other guy trash talking and fighting, then people getting knocked out, and then start again with another guy showing up and trash talking. At this one point, you do go back and see this world that Major X is from.
Oh,
it is so confusing.
It is. I got right out of the issue.
So in that part, he tries to convince you that this whole world is destroying.
Yeah.
And the way he does that is because in this beautiful world, he explains, there's these pillars, these stone pillars coming out of the ground.
Yep.
And when the planet starts disintegrating, I guess, these pillars crumble slowly.
Yeah, they crumble. And even at one point even says
that's the only debris you get is some crumbling stalagmites.
Yep. Yeah. And that's on existence.
Yes.
And then
it's existential, the existence is the dude.
That's what I'm saying. You have existence and extension. I'm like, really? Like, what is going on? Now, the whole story just boils down to this X-Man, or Major X. I mean, Major X has got his version of Beast, and they end up going to our dimension to try to save his destroyed world. And I don't know. I don't understand.
Past in the
because
90s, though, right?
Because he ends up going back, yes. And they jump wrong, so they end up what appears to be like in the 90s. You end up with, he rode on his, time traveling mother cycle.
His mother bike.
Mother bike. Really? And he ends up at the beginning fighting Cable, cutting off Cable's arm, trash talking with him back and forth. Then we see the background of this world that he's from. Then we see how he jumps in time by just doing it, ends up with it. Now he fights with Wolverine. Now he's fighting with Wolverine until Cable gets up and then shoots him, but then it doesn't do anything. Then Deadpool shows up.
It's one of those knockdown bullets.
Dreadpool from the future shows up, says, "Oh man, I'm gonna collect my bounty, getting you guys, you jerks."
This isn't the future. This is a lateral timeline.
I don't know who Dreadpool is, though. He doesn't even seem to be from.
Wait.
Major X's deal. Then Deadpool shows up. Holy crap. At one point, Domino's there because it was the X-Force that they went to go. Yep. They start fighting again. Then after all of this, and after all of this nonsense, Deadpool drives him with the mother bike. He ends up smashing in there. They start trash talking. And then out of all of this, I'm telling you, this is an hour of fight, limbs getting cut off, people going. They decide to stop and see what's going on. After all that, they just stop and go.
Well, hey. Major X actually told them one time before, I believe, what happened. They didn't believe him.
No, they didn't believe him. So now.
Then Dreadpool takes off and
Dreadpool takes down. Yeah, and Dreadpool takes off and calls Deadpool an anomaly. He leaves, makes no sense. You end up with those two fighting, and the only thing is you have Rob Liefeld, who has to point out that Dreadpool has shoulder pads. That's the only thing. He's only has them so you can tell the difference. It doesn't matter.
It seems like his jokes don't hit his heart.
God.
But then Cable gets up. He's like, wait. I know what's going on.
I think I know you. And that's the best. They're fighting. Dreadpool, there, Wolverine. Oh my God. And then Cable just gets up and goes, all right, tell everybody who you are, Major X, because I figured it out. Oh, really?
I was waiting for him to take this helmet off, and then Cable go, "You're black."
Yeah, I actually thought it was going to be like, oh man, you're this or that or the I had no idea. And it's just like, hey, I'm Alexander Nathaniel Summers. Yep, I'm your son. Oh no. And I'm like, what? And then it's next issue, the Extension. I'm like, you think so? Because
that cover Wolverine's face, that covers.
Holy moly.
Everyone has the same face. He just like draws a different mask on them.
They all have helmet head.
Yeah. I'm telling you, this whole deal. In 2 weeks, this book comes out. In 2 weeks, I am avoiding this like the plague. This is so bad, and I want to.
2 weeks. Does he start drawing it now?
Yeah, really. No, 2 hours. I actually was looking forward to this. I thought that this was going to be some fun. Yeah, I thought it'd be fun. It is not. It's awful. It's awful.
It's the worst one ever.
Yeah,
it's the worst one ever.
Yeah. What do you give it, Brandon?
I'd give this one a 5. I liked it better than Marvel 2.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 3. How about you, Aaron?
This is what a 1 looks like.
Yeah, this is
how are you giving it a 5? How are you giving it a 3? You should get your crap checked.
Yeah,
this is a 1. This is exactly what a 1.
It's your favorite one. You just said.
The worst.
I'm gonna edit that in.
We're all still higher than the average on the roundup.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad.
We're all still lower. I'm sorry. We're all
we're all, because you'll have people who are just gonna on the roundup like it's a 10 out of 10. Oh my!
The writing makes no sense. The dialogue makes no sense. The story makes no sense. It loses you at every moment it gives. I mean, it absolutely is rubbish.
Here, nameless review. Liefeld churns out some of his best work here, and if you're a fan of these classic characters, you'll find a lot to love.
Yep, there you go. A fun throwback to Liefeld's days, really. It's hilarious. It's a great time. It's lovely, but there are 2 2s and a 3.
It's still too high.
Yeah, it's bad. It is bad, but yeah, that's it.
I do have to say, I kind of like his beast.
I actually like that when Wolverine first shows up. I thought it was okay.
He looks like he got the most attention. Yeah, because he has all those little hairs to draw.
I think this is actually the only one he's doing art for, to be honest with you.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Well, see, you should get somebody else to do the story too. It's awful. It's just ridiculously bad. I'm putting my foot down. I voted. We're not continuing with this.
This is a unanimous vote.
I can't even hate read this because there's just too many dang words that I don't want to read.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's not like I don't like reading a lot of words.
No, I'm getting depressed. I'm getting depressed with this. Yeah, I love to
suicidal after reading this.
Yeah, you said even earlier, I love that he's on this, this existence. And he's like, man, this was beautiful. And pretty much it's just a rundown freaking barren wasteland. I'm like, all right, I guess
you don't see any of the beautiful parts.
Make it show the beautiful, before you start kind of ripping it apart. I don't know.
Well,
I have no idea.
How do you show trees that are falling over because of quaking?
No, you just I don't even go quake. Have it just disappearing from existence, because even at that, they're like, people are where towns are disappearing, and there's them disappearing.
There was no town.
Yeah, but even at the one point where you have Beast, his version of Beast that jumps on him, looks like he's about to kill him, but then they're partners. And
I love that little scene where he's riding away on the bike with Beast dragging behind him,
yelling he's gonna vomit.
All Major X's is the helmet on the bike.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. But yeah, that's it. And we're done. We are done for the night. So there you go. Not exactly a positive deal, but yeah.
I have a feeling a couple good reviews should be just strolling right in.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that is it. But we're going to go off. I'll remind everybody we have a website, WeirdScienceMarvelComics.com, and email WeirdScienceMarvelComics@gmail.com, and a Patreon, patreon.com/WeirdScience. Again, we did the War of the Realms #1. That was picked. We didn't choose that. That was picked by the Bad Butts, and obviously the big book of the week. So there you go. We're going to go off, and we'll see you in a couple days.
Later.